I want to turn now to some agreement that's so remarkable it could blow right past you on a news day like this. Bob Woodward reporting that Trump's own senior staffers have views that actually overlap with some of the harshest voices in the resistance to Trump, all coming together to make these accusations tonight that President Trump is a liar who's basically out of control and can't be trusted. Consider that contrast as you look at what's playing out today. On the Hill, elected Democrats have a strategic argument. They're trying to stop or get more documents on the Supreme Court pick for a long shot inside strategy. But on the streets, the resistance in the grassroots much stronger, with direct action protests in that same room. Trump, meanwhile, shattering norms, overstepping the law, violating oversight of the Justice Department. Now, Professor Michael Eric Dyson is more associated with that resistance critique, and he was recently quite blunt in how to take on Donald Trump at Aretha Franklin's funeral.
Then this orange apparition had the nerve to say she worked for him. You lugubrious leech. You dopey doppelganger of deceit and deviance. You lethal liar. You dim-witted dictator. You foolish fascist.
Now, that's the voice of a critic, but read this quote from Donald Trump's own chief of staff, allegedly saying he's unhinged, an idiot. It's pointless to convince him of anything. He's gone off the rails. We're in crazy town. I don't even know why any of us are here, John Kelly saying in the new Woodward book. This is the worst job I've ever had. Kelly denying that he ever said that today. Michael Eric Dyson, a Georgetown professor and the author of What Truth Sounds Like. I'll say on a personal note, the sound of you at that important memorial with so many leaders from the American community, from the African-American community, which is, of course, one community, was notable and striking. Your view of this theory we put forward, this thesis, since you are such a philosopher, that you and John Kelly, according to Bob Woodward, have a similar view of Donald Trump.
This is our Hegelian moment. We have a thesis and an antithesis, and now we have a synthesis. Martin Luther King Jr. couldn't be prouder. This is remarkable. The reality is that those within the Beltway, those even within the Oval Office, have to maintain a certain decorum, a certain distance from the madness, because they must maintain and preserve business. Those of us on the outside have the responsibility to continually hammer at and hammer away at the viciousness, the lies, the deceptions, the prevarications that come out on a daily basis. And it is gratifying, though sadly so, that John Kelly and Michael Eric Dyson absolutely agree. And yet the resolution of it is that those inside must tell more of that truth. If you're working for a man who you believe is in crazy town, then he's inducting you into the citizenry of crazy townness as well. You've got to oppose him tooth and nail. Now, there's an argument to be made. Somebody's got to be inside to stop him, steal letters, take things. And
let me go there,
right?
Because you talk about stealing letters, and you use the term dopey doppelganger.
Right.
You are also, good sir, in agreement tonight with departed White House aide Gary Cohn,
right,
who served Donald Trump, defended Donald Trump, stood by during Charlottesville. That's right. But then, and I want to read this at length because I want to make sure everyone at home understands the account. Cohn, a Wall Street veteran, tried to tamp down Trump's strident nationalism on trade. Cohn stole a letter off Trump's desk the president was intending to sign to withdraw the U.S. from this South Korean trade agreement, and Cohn later told an associate he removed the letter, that's his word for stealing, to protect national security, and Trump didn't notice it was missing. Cohn made a similar play to prevent Trump from pulling the U.S. out of NAFTA, something the president's long threatened to do, and in 2017, Trump was eager to withdraw and told White House aide Porter, why aren't we getting this done? Do your job. I want to do it. Under orders from the president, Porter drafted a notification letter withdrawing from NAFTA, but he and other advisors worried it could trigger an economic and foreign relations crisis. So Woodward recounts that Porter went to Cohn, who told him, quote, I can stop this. I'll just take the paper off his desk. This is not a joke. Right. This is not a South Park or Simpsons episode. Right. What does this tell you about what the men closest to Donald Trump think of him?
I mean, think about this. This is not even the fury and fire of Brother Wolf. This is Bob Woodward, the dean of American journalists, with empirical evidence, that which can be falsified or verified through the census, a piece of paper, a document, a data, a recording, an interview of men who have been willing to testify, whether on record or not, or at least by attribution or not, that this man is engaging in public policy and the presidency by tiddlywinks and jousting and adolescent shenanigans. This is astonishing and all the more frightening that the president of the United States of America does this. And not only is it interesting and intriguing, and some would say illegal or immoral for Mr. Cohn to withdraw that letter, though some would agree with him, the more astonishing fact is Donald Trump didn't even know. He took something off of his desk because it wasn't from his heart, his mind, his soul, his vision. It was something that was put before him to placate him or for him to placate the American public. And it does not grow out of a conscious effort to negotiate the competing demands of that presidency, because, as one other person said, this is a fifth or sixth grader, not only in terms of his, ephemeral temperament, but also the whimsy and the fancy and the anger and the hostility that emerges from him. We are in dire trouble, and this book only clarifies that.
When we listen to you, Professor, we don't always feel better, but we do feel clearer, and sometimes that's the first step. I appreciate you coming by on a busy night.
Sir.
Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.